Welcome to the Gospel Music Workshop. This is an interactive course, a textbook complete with embedded videos and instant feedback and much more. This journey represents many years of my life going back as far as I can remember. My family represents a few generations of gospel music musicians. Growing up in our house and our relatives' houses was always filled with music. To keep me out of trouble, as an inquisitive 5-year-old, my great aunt Virginia, we called her Aunt Nin, sat me on the organ bench during church services so that she could keep an eye on me. She was quite the accomplished musician. She played both the organ and the piano, first at a Methodist church and then later on at a Black Baptist church, and directed many large choirs in the community. Through my Aunt Nan, who had attended Lane College and later on Tennessee State University, earned a master's degree in music, many of the best musicians of the period did not read music. They played by ear. I was always amazed at how she was equally comfortable playing by ear or reading off a music chart. Like some of you, our Sundays at church were an all-day and most of the night affair. It began early in the morning with Sunday school, followed by a special rehearsal with the soloist and small group, and service began about 11. I stress around. And it might last all afternoon. A late afternoon church potluck meal, and then Aunt Nin was off driving very, very fast down the highway to an evening concert or praise service. Sometimes we didn't get home until well after midnight, depending on the length of the drive to get to and from our destination. Aunt Nin and her fellow musicians were incredibly talented and dedicated to being the best gospel groups this side of the Mississippi. All they needed was to know the key of a song and off they went, creating something wonderful. She insisted that my two brothers and I take music lessons and classes during elementary school, junior high, and high school. She was ruthless when it came to teaching music, insisting on excellence from the get-go. My first attempt at playing the organ during offering at a service was difficult because my little legs were too short to reach the pedals. A Black gospel version of God Will Take Care of You featured Aunt Nin on the piano and me at 7 years old or so on the Hammond B3 organ. She was all over the piano to compensate for the fact that my little fingers and short legs were limited in their spread and reach. This did not deter her demand for excellence, though. The 300 or 400 people that were there at the service were forgiving, but I was motivated to work hard for the sheer fact that I did not want to embarrass myself in front of all those people. As a result of this experience, my two brothers and I were involved in Aunt Nin's music programs well until she passed away at the old age of 80-something. She'd never tell us exactly how old she really was, but she made music all the way up until the end. She had no children of her own, but almost 1,000 people showed up at her funeral. Many young people, some of we've never seen before, claiming she was like a mother to them. How could this legendary musician be loved and admired by so many people who were not even blood relatives? You see, it was this compelling desire to please God and man through the quality and inspiration of music that prompted me to ask many questions as an academic and historian. Where did gospel music come from? Why are these people so excited about this gospel music experience? What motivated people to drive hundreds of miles, brave the weather, spend precious weekends gathering, creating, and singing about the good news? Because of Aunt Nen, I was able to work my way through college as a paid musician. Not long after I graduated from graduate school, I was asked to teach a class in African American music. Although I grew up in the middle of gospel music's heyday, I knew very little about the story behind gospel music. That prompted me to begin doing a search. I traveled the world looking for clues and conducting research on the elements that set the stage for this powerful genre of music that continues to inspire people all over the world. In the 20th century, music would continue to serve as an arena where African Americans forged their hopes and dreams, even as they contended with the racial oppression that remained an integral part of American society. A vital part of the fabric of daily life, music helped solidify communities in rural districts as well as the urban enclave to which so many African Americans migrated in the decades following emancipation. Music percolated virtually everywhere. African Americans congregated in community institutions such as barbecues, schools, churches, and private parties. I love the barbecues, of course. In spaces of commercial amusement and city streets. The songs of slavery provided a language that captured the emotional dimensions that not only slavery, but also of the racism that would plague the post-emancipation world. Even Aunt Nen, who was born in 1914, told stories of picking cotton and harmonizing to stave off the heat and the depression of sharecropping. W.E. Du Bois regarded the songs as the rhythmic cry of the slave, describing the wellspring of emotion that songs stirred in him. Over the course of the 20th century, as African Americans worked to build new communities and as they moved about the country seeking economic and educational opportunities, they produced a rich variety of musical styles that reflected the range of experiences they encountered: folk spirituals, classically arranged spirituals, gospel anthems, and many other forms of musical expressions. Musicians gave voice to community aspirations and invoked the extremes of feeling and experience that were part of modern Black life. Gospel singers laced their songs with upbeat rhythms, but the wails and cries used to punctuate the melodies made the pain of daily living an integral component of the good news supplied by spirituality and faith. I dedicated this book to Aunt Nen. Not a day goes by that I don't remember all the love, discipline, and music she poured into me and my two brothers from her tireless years of making music. So come along on this journey. Read the text, watch the videos, and review the reference links. But hold on, it will be a rocky, sometimes sad, scary, but satisfying ride.